We want to be 100% fossil-free fuel selling 100% by 2040. Meaning that we started to produce, but if you look at the share of the electric vehicles sold is very little compared to the IC engines. But by 2040, we want to change the scenario where by 2040 all the vehicles whatever we produce and sell it would be a fossil-free vehicles. I think so. Volvo India, if you look at it, we have to have quite a good connection with the government in terms of our ambitions, and then how we are going to accelerate the electromobility or the fossil-free journey in India. In the today's governments, if you look at it, it's a lot of focus put on basically the hydrogen, green hydrogen, and then quite a lot of other initiatives are happening. So I think this is we need to find how we align, and then how do we take it forward in terms of Volvo contributing in the journey in the India growth story. At the same time, also we would also get benefit from India for the Volvo as a business, right? So IC engines, if you look at it, we are trying to reduce the emissions. So basically, we are talking about the carbon dioxide, CO2 emissions we are talking about. So if you replace the IC engine with the fuel, IC engine fuels, today's fuels like diesel, and with the petrol, and replace that with the biodiesel or bio LNG, we can make it a zero emission vehicles, CO2 zero emissions. And also over and above that, if we go for a hydrogen, as I mentioned, then it could give a fuel cell vehicles. When you give it, it will be a quite good complementing in terms of electric vehicles. And also internal combustion engines using the H2 would be as an additional technology which would help us to use the current IC engine technologies. So by changing the fuels, it could be a biodiesel, bio LNG, or hydrogen, we would be able to reduce the CO2 to a drastic percentage amount. So if you look at it, it's like, as I mentioned in the presentation, it's even the heavy commercial vehicle, if you take it, it's not going to happen all in one day. It's slowly, it's going to transformation is going to happen. So, but in India, if you look at it, Volvo is into the heavy commercial vehicles, which would take little longer time than what is happening today in India, be it two-wheelers or three-wheelers or the car industries. So, but we are ready with the product. It's a question of how we have the infrastructure, how we are going to enable the infrastructure, and then if that is done, then we would be really able to sell our electric vehicles in Indian market. Having said that, Indian market also, they look at it on the cost wise, and then also they look at on the different the other aspects which need to be considered when we start to sell vehicles in India. Yeah, when I say we are ready with the product, I am talking about the trucks which we are selling in Europe already today. So that vehicle can be deployed anytime soon. But when the truck to run uniformly with the lesser stoppages and other things, we need to have the other infrastructure that needs to be put in place so that it has the smooth transportation. I would say the electric vehicle challenges, of course, one is the customer awareness. Then the second one is on the how we utilize the vehicles with the continuously operating in the quite high efficiency, because today, as I mentioned, the logistics wise we have still quite a lot of gap to match it. So when a customer buys a vehicle, he or she does not want to keep it idle because of some logistical constraint. So that is one other thing which we need to address it. And of course the other things like charging stations or the hydrogen tank stations are important. When I say charging stations, it's not the charging station which we are already talking about for the two-wheelers or the three-wheeler. This would need a quite high power charging station. So that is what I meant. You can't do it by yourself. One hand cannot make a sound, right? So you need two. But here we need a lot of people. We need to come together because we are not the expert in all the areas. We are expert in our transport solutions. But at the same time, if you want to proceed further, we need some support from the energy experts. We need support from the chemical industries, and we need support from the steel industry, and so on and so forth. So we all need to come together to deliver what we want to achieve for our sustainable future.